Hello, I'm Catherine Webster, and I'm the Simpson County Extension Agent for 4-H Youth Development. I work for the University of Kentucky College of Agriculture, Food, and Environment Cooperative Extension Service. I want to take a minute today to explain to you how Simpson County's 4-H clubs are working this fall. Given COVID-19 and the social distancing guidelines that we are still under, we are required to keep all of our program participants 6 feet apart. In Simpson County, our extension meeting facilities are smaller, and this limits us to only 6 people upstairs and 12 people downstairs, which is not enough to have a full 4-H club meeting. So we're trying something new. Each week in October, November, and December, we will be featuring a different 4-H club. So we want you to tune in every week to see what 4-H club is being featured. Some of these programs will be hands-on, where we'll provide you a list of supplies and you'll get to follow along at home, while others will be more of a question and answer or interview session to really educate those of you watching from home on our 4-H clubs. Our intent is that come January, we'll be able to have a recruitment night. Probably look a little different than what you're used to in terms of we won't be outside at our farmers market pavilion, but we'll have some kind of recruitment event in early January with hopes that our 4-H clubs will be able to start meeting in person January through May or June. So what we want of our 4-H members is to go ahead and get enrolled in Simpson County 4-H. If you were enrolled in 4-H last year, you should have received a new enrollment form in the mail. Fill that out and get it back to the extension office. We do have a mail slot on our back door, so you can drop those off after hours, and this will ensure that you stay on our mailing list and our email list, and you'll receive notifications about our weekly programs that are being done online.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I pledge my head to clearer thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, and my health to better living, for my club, my community, my country, and my world.
Hi, I'm Catherine Webster, and I'm the Simpson County Extension Agent for 4-H Youth Development. And today we are here to talk about our 4-H Sewing Club, and I have a couple of our sewing members with us.
Hi, my name is Kate Ford, and I've been with this sewing club for 3 years.
Hi, I'm Hannah Metter, and this is my first year in the sewing club.
And so what we're doing today is I want them to tell you guys that may be watching what you can do if you choose to join the 4-H Sewing Club this year. So I don't know who wants to start out, but tell me, what do you do when you join the sewing club?
So in the beginning, when we first start meeting, we learn the parts of the sewing machine. So this is the presser foot, and these down here is what pulls your fabric in, and they're called the feed dogs, and this is the presser foot lifter, and this is what controls the machine. Make sure you have it on, and then you just push this with your foot, and it'll go.
And I should probably say, we are at the extension office today, and we are in the sewing room. We were able to renovate last year, and so with our renovation, we were able to put in a permanent sewing room. And so lots of different people can use this room. It's not just used by our 4-H club. Our homemakers also use it. It's also used for community projects. A lot of times we'll have people that are doing some kind of sewing project for missions or things of that nature. Our Boys and Girls Club have brought kids here to sew. I know Faith Baptist Academy brought some students last year and they sewed. So we have a wonderful room designated just for sewing, and so that's why we're meeting in here today. All right, so anything to add, Hannah, to what Kate told us about what she's learned or what she does?
Yeah, whenever you're learning the sewing machine, you're going to do just some simple projects in the first few months. I have some here. We did a tag, like just like you put it on your suitcase or something. We have some 4-H coasters, which are really cute. We have a napkin holder. I think we made these maybe last year. And then a chapstick holder, which is very handy.
And so what did you make those for?
These we usually put in the bazaar at Christmas, and we usually just sell a bunch of them.
Okay, and so does the sewing club, I know 4-H hosts the bazaar every year, so is the sewing club involved with the bazaar then?
Yes, they usually do it every year, and just sell a bunch of stuff.
Okay, and I think that's the bazaar and having a booth there is really the primary fundraiser for the sewing club. Okay, so you mentioned, Kate, that we start out and you learn the parts of the sewing machine, learn some sewing tools, and then you'll start doing some basic projects that you can put in the bazaar. The sewing club is also great about sewing something for our 4-H banquet every year, sometimes for members or for our leaders. Okay, so we join the club, we learn the basics, we do some simple projects. What's next?
Then when it comes around time for January, we go on a field trip to Joann's to pick out our fabric for our projects. It depends on what unit you're in, what you will have to sew, and what your options are to sew, and what fabric you use.
Okay, all right, so you go to Joann's and you pick out your fabric. So you have two choices when you're sewing in 4-H. You can do clothing options or you can do non-clothing options. And we have some projects here in front of us, so I'm gonna let Hannah and Kate kind of show those off. All right, so Hannah, what's the one that's closest to you?
This apron here, if you can see it, this is the clover bud level. It's very easy and it's really cute.
So our clover buds, we do let them sew if room allows. And those are our 5 to 8 year olds. And we always do a project that they complete in a 5 to 2 hour time frame. So we do some simple choices, maybe a toboggan, maybe a scarf. An apron is a really popular first year project. All right, and so then we go to Unit 1. What can you sew in Unit 1, Kate?
Well, here's a tote bag. This can be used for your everyday, or you can use it when you're going shopping. I'm pretty sure it's called the Go Green tote bag.
I think so, yes.
And so, yeah, you can use it when you're going shopping instead of using those plastic bags.
Okay, and what's this one in your
And here is a drawstring backpack. And then you can just do this. You can take it to sleepovers. You can put whatever you want in here, snacks, and possibilities are limitless.
And it's that drawstring backpack is probably one of the most popular things
Yes.
for everybody to make when you're starting out sewing. So let's see, in Unit 2, what can you sew in Unit 2, Hannah?
You can do duffel bags. You actually learn how to put a zipper in, which is really cool.
Yeah, and this is a great project. To me, it seems kind of complicated for a second year sewer, but you're learning to put a zipper in. And this would be a great overnight bag, I think, for either one of you, or a great gym bag. Okay, and in Unit 3, what do we learn?
We learn how to put a button in.
Yes, so it's making a project that has a button. And then, let's see, you did Unit 4 this past year, so what did you sew?
I made this jumpsuit back here, and for Unit 4, you have to use a knit fabric.
I will say that Unit 4 is probably one of the hardest projects to sew in 4-H because you were sewing on knit fabric, and that is what you learned.
Well, knit fabric bunches up a lot. I also learned how to put in some pockets, and I learned to hem.
All right, and you did a great job. I've seen you wearing this, and anyway, really cute jumpsuit, but all knit. Okay, and so Hannah, you were in the senior sewing this year, and so what did you make?
Well, I made a dress.
The one behind me with the
Yeah.
rosette on it. So Hannah's our grand champion for our sewing this year, and was this your first year? How many years have you sewn?
This is my first year.
Okay, so that's a pretty big project to tackle for your first
It
year
was
sewing.
not easy.
So what'd you learn?
I learned how to put an invisible zipper in, and also learned how to use darts, or make darts. And then that's about it. I
Okay.
learned a lot of stuff, but those were like the two hardest ones.
All right. So in the sewing club from January to May is when you're really focusing on completing your projects, getting ready for the fashion review where you get to model, show off what you've made. We have the projects judged on your construction. We also have your projects judged on how well you model. And then your projects also get to go to the county fair, and some of them are selected to go into the state fair. So a lot of times our kids will complete a project and they have to kind of hang on to it, keeping it in great shape for it to get through the Kentucky State Fair before they wear it. So Anything else you guys want to add about being in the sewing club?
It's a very useful skill that you will need to use a lot in life.
So
And you need to put if you're in this club, it's very time consuming. So you have to have a lot of confidence to finish your work.
it does. And I certainly don't want to leave out of this. I'm not in the sewing club. So who helps you all who leads the sewing club? Let's talk about that.
Miss Nell.
Miss Nell, Miss Pat also assists. I know Miss Sharon helped some this past year, and also Miss Kathy helped some. So it is led by volunteers that know how to sew. Nell is actually a master clothing volunteer for the University of Kentucky, so she's got a lot of sewing experience. So she does lead that group, and then has a lot of ladies helping. And let me just say, the sewing club is always needing more help. So if you're watching today and you sew and you would be willing to give a few hours every month starting in January, we could definitely use more volunteers to help our 4-Hers like Hannah and Kate complete sewing projects in 2021. So let me ask you, what's one, we're going to end with, what's one tool that you've learned how to use when you're sewing and you're starting out sewing and you've used it over and over? We talked about it in the beginning.
The seam ripper.
Yes, that's what we usually give everybody their first year sewing is a seam ripper because you may end up taking out a lot of your hems and your seams, but you're gonna learn a lot. And anyway, so it's definitely one of those things that's maybe not everybody's favorite, but you'll learn to use that. Anything else you all want to add about being in the sewing club?
The sewing club is just not for girls. Boys can be involved too. We've had a few boys over the years who'd like some more. Just come on.
Exactly right. I kind of say that sewing's kind of a lost art because there's not a lot of people that sew, but there's definitely a need for people to sew. Anything else you want to add, Hannah?
Everything.
All right. Thank you.